Thank you very much. You're awakened in the morning by the sound of the alarm of the BlackBerry from underneath your pillow. You look at it, 5 more minutes. You hit the snooze button. 5 minutes later, it rings again. Finally gather the courage to, pull the blanket apart. Not apart, but move it off of you. You get up, first thing you do before you get up, look at your BlackBerry. Any BBMs in the night? Any tweets? Any Facebook messages? If not, you look at the recent updates, if you weren't lucky enough to get a message in the night. You get up, and you head to the toilet, bathroom, you fiddle around for a few minutes, jump into the shower. Once you're done with your morning cleanup, you go back to your room, and you glance at your watch and you realize that if you don't hurry up, you're going to be late for school again. So you hurriedly put on your clothes, sling on your bag, grab your breakfast from the dining table, and run out the door. And your mom's running with you. You get into the car, put on radio, listen to some nice music, and before you know it, you're at school. School is pretty much the same, chill with your friends, try to study a little, and before you know it, the day is over. Actually, no, it's a long day. You get home, you're pooped, you're tired, so you jump into the shower, you're done with the shower, head out and have lunch. So, what would you do with your lunch? Facebook, Twitter, or my personal favorite, watch a nice TV show. You're done with lunch, and now you're tired, so maybe doze off for a little nap, or maybe, just maybe, I'm not saying you should do this, but start off with your homework early for a change. Evening comes, work's done, maybe watch a little TV. For the guys, maybe play a little Call of Duty or FIFA. Or if you're sporty, go out for a little football or a little run. Before you... Come on, my story isn't that bad. Before you know it, it's dinner time. Just having had your scrumptious meal, heavy tummy, you decide to go to bed. And you depart to the theater of dreams. That's, for the teenagers here, that's pretty much your average day, right? Fair enough. So, living in the UAE, our lives are pretty easy. For us, we're very blessed living in the UAE. All of us are very blessed individuals. From acquiring... I love you, Walid.
It's used to it.
From acquiring quality education to access to clean drinking water. We're blessed with everything, and living in this part of the world, we don't need to worry about, the problems which are faced by so many different people in so many different parts of the world. Even when we look at, when we see different things, or when we hear about different things which are sad, we do feel bad. The feeling is there. After all, how many times have you been, imagine this, you're walking on the road, you're casually minding your own business, BBMing, walking, and suddenly you see a man, and he's knee-deep in the garbage bin, looking for cans of Coca-Cola or Pepsi, or cardboard. These are things that we throw out. But this is the source of his livelihood. Now, you might, feel sad. You will feel sad when you see this. But at the same time, you're thankful that, alhamdulillah, you're not in the same situation, and that you're blessed enough to not be in that situation. But you stray on this thought for a minute, two, but after those 2 or 3 minutes, the thought's gone from your head. Yet you go back to, doing whatever it is you were doing. We do care, but it doesn't last for that long. Similarly, when you watch a video, how many times have you watched a video on Facebook, like which your friend has shared, or on Twitter, something, which you felt sad about? After watching it, a minute after that, you felt sad, your emotions were at a peak. And you're like, I want to make a change, I want to make a difference. You're really motivated. 2 minutes later, same thing. 5 minutes later, yes. But 10, 15, 20 minutes later, it's just not the same. For some reason, that thought has gone to the back of your head. It's not like we don't care. We do. It's just that we don't properly reflect on it. If you see a problem, if something moves you, if you see something which you want to change, what do you do about that? How do you capture that feeling which you had when you saw the person and hold it for long periods of time? So whenever I reflect, I think about two different instances. First, when I was 8, so I was talking to this person I knew, and we were talking about random stuff. I'm 8 years old, I'm going to talk about all the random stuff I want to talk about. So we were talking, and he suddenly brought out this thing where there was a hospital in Pakistan, and they were building a new wing, and they were fundraising for that new wing. And anyone could participate in this by donating any amount whatsoever. And he gave me a challenge. He's like, if you go bald, shave your head, I will donate some money towards it. I'm 8 years old. This is the time when I started liking girls, and I'm at the phase of impressing them. You know, with my spiky hair and gel in my hair. So I'm not going to shave my hair. After the little coaxing, you know, after the motivation, I went through it. I'm sorry, I was too busy talking, forgot about the slides. Yeah. After talking about it, I said, okay, I'll take the challenge. So that was going to be me before, and that was going to be me after. Not that attractive after, but... So I decided, you know what, I'm going to go through with it. That's me getting a haircut. One of the shortest haircuts I've ever gotten. That was when I was 8. When I was 13, I was faced with a different situation. It was Eid, and you know, Eid is a time of celebration. You know, kids are getting a lot of Eidiyah, you're very happy, you know. And my dad was trying to, you know, he gave me a pep talk. He taught me how to, you know, using my Eid money to go buy another PS2 game. So I was like, all right. And to convince, you know, he told me about, we were talking, and he was talking about, you know, how there's so many different people in the world, and how there's so many different situations, and there's so much that we can do to make a difference. He even introduced me to someone he knew in a telecommunication organization in Afghanistan, which is doing a lot of good work there. And one of their projects was to build wells in villages, which for generations have not had access to safe drinking water. You know, throughout, he showed me pictures like this, things like this. And for me, I'm still 13, right? So, and I'm like, why should I do this? Why should I be bothered with it? It's not like it's affecting me in any way. I live in Dubai, my life is fine. Do I have to worry about, do I have enough water at home to quench my thirst? Yes. So why should I be worried about it? Despite that, for some reason, there was something inside me pushing towards giving my money. And I gave my idea towards this cause. There was just something inside of me which was like, do it, do it. So I went and did it. And that's how I started off One Well, 700 Lives. So whenever I think about the two main factors behind why I did any of these things, the first one is that on an average, the well thing impacts the life. It costs only 10 dirhams. Mind you, 10 dirhams to impact the life of a human being. So for 10 dirhams, you are providing a person with water for the rest of their lives. So whenever I thought about, you know, I can't raise any more awareness, I can't raise any more funds, you know, I can't, like, you know, I've dried up all resources, I can't do any more. And it costs just 10 dirhams to impact the life of a human being. And when a well is built in a community, children who usually would walk for many hours to go and get the water don't have to do so. And the time they usually spend walking and getting the water, they can spend on learning to read and write. Women can utilize that time towards providing extra income for their household or taking better care of their families. So ultimately, building a well not only provides the entire village with water, but it also impacts the health, the education, and the productivity of the entire village. Secondly, when I think about this, what I think about is that each well, on a minimum, not average, minimum, impacts the lives of 700 human beings. Just imagine that, 700 people. Each well impacts that many people. Even though I've never been to Afghanistan to get a first-hand view of the impact these wells have, it doesn't matter. I wanted to go to Afghanistan last year, but my mom, being how caring she is, she said, no, you're not going to Afghanistan. So instead, she arranged for me to go to northern Pakistan, where there were 4 of us, and we taught in schools, and we stayed with one of the people in many different villages. And I'm telling you, it was most gratifying experience ever, and it made me thankful for what I have. And we found out that many of the kids, whenever they used to come to school, they had to walk for 1 hour or 2 hours to get to school. I wouldn't walk for 1 hour or 2 hours to get to school. I'd skip every day. But these kids walked for 1 hour or 2 hours every day, and even though they didn't have a water problem like the kids in Afghanistan, this still hit home for me, as I was able to relate this to how the kid would have to walk for so many hours. And after that, I've worked on my initiative with greater empathy and a heightened sense of awareness. And alhamdulillah, to date, I've been able to raise over $60,000, which is built which has built 30 wells in 30 different villages, impacting the lives of over 20,000 human beings. Now, this is the first well which was built, and there were people standing there taking a picture. So now, problems like these are everywhere. Like, wherever you look, you're going to find these problems. And it's not that hard to look for heroes. In fact, we have so many heroes residing in UAE itself. This is Michael Del Moro. He's a Filipino living in Abu Dhabi, right? What he does is very simple. He's taking cans, he's gone and collected cans and plastic bottles from different cafes and in the malls, and he's recycled them. And after recycling them, whatever money he's raised, he has been able to educate, he's been able to give 150 goodie bags of stationery to kids in the Philippines. And he's able to raise enough money to educate 2 kids for an entire year in the Philippines. Abu Dhabi. We have Abdul Jamaluddin, who lives in Sharjah. This is a watchman who lives in Sharjah, and his salary is 1,200 dirhams, 1,200 dirhams a month, right? You can buy a Louis Vuitton belt in that much, right? 1,200 dirhams. This man, over the past 8 years, has been giving part of his salary towards building a school in Bangladesh. And through that school, he has educated 200 children. 200 children from a salary of 1,200. And something which he said really got to me. He said, I feel like I have to do this. Not only does he have to worry about his 1,200 dirham salary and about sending money back home, that he feels like he has to do this. We, on the other hand, have been blessed with so much, and we should be having the same urge that he did. Faiz Musa. Faiz Musa is a very close friend of mine. And ever since Faiz he has 2 younger brothers. And ever since Faiz was young, and so was his youngest brother, they used to play baseball. They used to play baseball a lot, and they were really good at it. And they had a brother in between who had been diagnosed since birth with Down syndrome. So every game of Faiz or his youngest brother, middle brother was always there, cheering them on. Faiz felt bad. He's like, I play every game, and he's there to support me. Why shouldn't he get a chance to play? And that's how he created something called the Dubai Miracle League in Dubai. Right? He created something called the Dubai Miracle League, where special needs students are matched with buddies who help them to learn the game of baseball. And last year, they were called the Dubai Miracle League and had 11 people. This year, they have 22, and they've got support from Kuwait and other GCC countries, and they're called the Dubai Challengers Division. Mind you, he started this when he was 14 years old. He's 15 now. He enjoys life. He has all the fun you can possibly have. But he's doing this as well. So what I want to say is, change, right? So how, does it take away a lot of time of yours? No. No, it doesn't. The thing is that you need to focus on sorry, I forgot the exact word, which I should use, but what you should do is you should have the will to do it and to look forward to the next step. The first thing is the basic step. As long as you have the first step covered, the other steps will fall into line. As Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. Do you see something which you're hurt by? Do you see something which you want to change? So be the change. But here's the thing. First step is always the hardest. First step is always the hardest, but it's the starting step. It's the building blocks. First step is always the hardest. Now focus on the last bit, all right? Do you see something, see something which you're hurt by? Or do you see something which makes you sad? Right. Do you see something that you would want to change? Do you see something which makes you stop and feel bad and then makes you stop and think twice? So, if you do see something like that, don't tell yourself that, oh, I'll do it next month. I have exams right now, I'll do it next month. Don't say I'll do it tomorrow. Do it today. Today is the day. Now. Not later, now. After all, as Nike would say, just do it. Thank you very much.